So I'm guessing this is it, and probably I should start the webinar. So hey guys, this is Amritanshu from discussiveslate.com, and this is the first webinar I'm conducting, and honestly I'm pretty much overwhelmed and excited about it. So without any further ado, let's get right into the topic. Okay, another time. Am I clearly audible to all of you? Can anyone just write anything in the chat box? Okay, yes. Hmm. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. So this is what I'll be talking about today. That is how to write an effective blog post or article, even if you're starting off as a complete novice, right? So for starters, you have to know what exactly does a blog mean. A blog is originally stands for weblog, is an online journal filled with certain content, and these are mostly these are saturated with content in a very well structured format, and these are kind of available for anyone else to read. It is usually based on a particular niche, varying from person to person. So yeah, as I was talking, yeah, a blog is it is based on a particular niche, and it may vary from person to person. And a blog can either be personal or otherwise, depends on your niche that you're selecting on. And usually, a blog technically refers to a website in the layman terms. And so today as well, while discussing about a blog, we'll be talking about the website. And to set up a website, you need to purchase a domain and a hosting, web hosting. They are the very much two essential products that you require to set up a website. Now let's get to what are these two. That is, what does domain and hosting mean? A domain is the web name of a website, and it is kind of the address where the internet users can have access to a website and navigate to your website. It can be combination of letters and numbers, and as you all might know, a very well example of a domain can be like anything.com, right? Anything in that format. I hope you're getting it. Now, a web hosting is a service that allows organizations and individuals to post a website or a web page onto the internet to be visible by the other users. Right. A web host or a web hosting service provider is a business that provides the technologies and services and mainly the space that is required by your website to be viewed on the internet by the other users. So if I were to give an analogy, domain is just the name of the store that you're setting up, and people recognize you by your domain. That is the name of your store. And the and if you are to set up a in an offline store, if you go with a name, that name becomes the domain. Okay. And the rent that you pay for the space to start your business, that is the mainly the hosting. So you can go ahead with the example that I had given. So yeah, domain is just the name of the store that people will identify you as, and hosting is the space required by you to set up your entire store. So I had talked earlier about niche. So you might be wondering, what does that actually mean? Uh, as a layman, you can obviously tell that a niche is a particular field of interest, and that varies from person to person. But if I had to go in depth about it, you can see that a niche is a certain area where you will specialize, which can guide you with the type of products to focus, the partnerships you can take on, and the content to supply, and the customers you can draw in. You need to find one specific market that you'll be serving over and over again, instead of spreading too thin by operating multiple niche markets. So, okay, in order to find the right niche, you need to target the intersecting point between these three things, that is, the talent, market, and passion. Right. For example, if you have talent and passion, but there is no market opportunity, you'll end up being as a struggling artist. And if you have the talent and the market opportunity, but you don't have any passion for it, then at the start you will end up getting all profitable and all, but in the long run, there will come a point where your competitors will get ahead of you and you will lose the game, because obviously you are not passionate about it. You just have the talent and the market opportunity that is somehow sorted for you. Now, if you have the market and you're passionate about it, but there is no talent, then in the first place you cannot go ahead and acquire your customer base. So you know, right, that means your business can never scale. So the niche is actually a sweet spot between all these three combinations, and that is how you can be profitable at something. Now now this is the main part of the entire webinar. Okay. By the way, is everything clear? In case you're having doubts, please go ahead and ask. In case you're clear, please type clear in the chat box. Okay. So now comes the main part, that is choosing a topic. And this is something that you need to be very careful about, because from your niche, there must be a lot of things that you might be aware of or you might have heard of from other people. But you cannot just go ahead and pick up any random topic, because that would not show your own interest in that. And in order to choose a topic, you need to go ahead with something that you are very much passionate about, or you have an experience or some basic insight, and in order to get an edge over others, do a basic research so as to get an overview of what content would your topic cover. because there are certain topics that are extremely small and extremely well understandable by others, but uh, yeah, you need to find a topic that is pretty much somehow of the reasonable length, which would require some research and that would either solve some problem or add some sort of value to your readers. In case your topic covers any facts and figures, you need to verify that as well, because obviously you cannot go ahead and place some random figures, right? You need to verify and back it up by some research. After choosing your topic, by starting an initial research, you can go ahead and map an outline by way of creating a mind map, and that would help you frame your entire blog, and you can go ahead with that. So I hope that's clear. Now, after choosing the topic, you need to come up with a very interesting headline. Interesting in the sense doesn't mean that you need to be all cheesy or go ahead and add some random puns in it. No, it just means that something that is somehow catchy yet comes under the purview of clean and simple. You can go ahead with by combining various keywords from your blog that gives an overview on what your entire blog is going to be about, and you can use various tools that are available like the Potent's content idea generator, Fat Joe blog title generator, and SEO Presser blog title generator, and etc. Just go ahead and search, do a Google search on it. You will get millions of such tools. Now you need to have an SEO friendly title, because so as to scale up your blog to be viewed on the first page of Google search. Like for an example, when someone is searching for a similar topic or something as similar to the thing that article you have written, so use some titles that are somehow easy to like crawl in the Google indexing. Okay, so that's something you should keep in mind. I will talk about that in the later stage of the video. Now you can go ahead and use clean and subtle titles, and please don't use intensive vocabulary, as that you are not going to catch any eyes by using those. I hope this is clear. In case, yes, Anushka, go ahead. Type your doubt in the chat box. Yes, I'll be covering that in the later stage of this webinar. But for now, you can just have this idea that SEO means search engine optimization. Like whenever you search something, there are some in the first page of the Google search, there are a few links and links that are provided, right? Those come under the SEO part. Those are actually very well optimized with the search engine, that what the users are actually searching and how the websites can scale to the Google search page. That's what SEO is. I hope that's clear. All right. Now comes the subject body. This is the main part, as it covers the major portion of your entire content. The things that I've spoken before are just the cherry on top of it, but this is the main part. So to form the body, you are bound to have an introduction. Introduction as in like something that gives a brief casual insight on what your entire topic is going to be about and how it is going to spread out in the entire article. So, for example, in this entire presentation, if I were to convert this entire presentation into a blog article, so I had talked earlier about blog, right, in the first stage of the video. So that's what an introduction is. So you can actually go ahead and give an introduction, but keep in mind that your introduction need not be more than 100 words, because then you are going just they're just lengthening it up. Now, after the introduction, there are the information that you have on the topic that you have researched on is innumerous, right? There are millions of research and millions of blog posts or other articles that people have published earlier. But what you need to do is, uh, when you're overwhelmed about all this information, you can go ahead and sort the all the necessary information in a very particular format, right? And like, you can go ahead by keeping it in various subtopics. Then you can and each of those subtopics would comprise of various other paragraphs. So that is something. And mostly if you're done by that, then you are mostly covered, right? So your entire content is already covered. If you cover the after the introduction, you go ahead and give some various subtopics, and you can use various examples and case studies which will help the readers know about the real life implications of the same. And apart from that, you can also go ahead and use some relevant media content like images, videos, and these visual things are going to like create a positive framework in the mind of the readers, right? That would show that you um, as a writer, you have research on something. And you can obviously go ahead and provide some various tools, etc., link it out on the your blog. And or else you can go ahead and put out some links of various YouTube videos related to your content and anything as such. And after all of this is a basic mistake that a lot of people do, is they miss out on the conclusion. You see, this conclusion can either be like in a 70 word or 100 word, that doesn't matter much. But something is a conclusion gives kind of like a closure to your entire topic that you've written about. So you can go ahead and talk about your own perspective or anything as such, like somehow by a quote or anything. You can go ahead with that, but don't just abruptly end your entire content, and that gives a negative impression on the mind of the readers. Now, after you have drafted your entire content for the topic, you have to proofread the piece of article that you just wrote or you have just created. And why should you do that is, this is a simple thing. In order to recheck and make sure that there are no spelling mistakes in your entire blog post. And a minor mistake in the spelling can amount a terrible impression on the readers. And obviously, as a beginner, you would not want that, right? So that's why reading is as important as creating the entire content. Now comes the visual interface. This is not very helpful, because as long as your content is very much up to the mark and informative, or it provides some value to your customer, the visual interface not much required. But still, you don't want to risk that as a beginner, right? So you also have to keep in mind about the visual interface that you are using while creating the content, or setting your website, or writing a blog post. So yes, to maintain a very professional and subtle touch to your blog and your articles, you need to use clean and easily readable fonts. Please don't use all the funky fonts in your articles, as it looks terrible and very much unprofessional in nature. Make use of the basic tools, that is the bold, italics, and the underline tools. These are included everywhere for a matter, right? And if you fail at using these basic tools, you are never going to scale up. And as a writer, you're bound to have all of these in your hand. And this is another thing, is you need to use different font sizes, or for various headings, because the font size of the paragraph cannot be the same as the font size of the subtopic or the font size of the topic. There are various number of heading sizes that are available. These are actually just a one touch thing that if you are using WordPress or you have used WordPress, you might be knowing about it. So yes, don't mix and merge the font sizes of the paragraphs and subtopics and vice versa. That is something you should keep in mind. So I hope all of this is clear. So should I proceed? All right. So now comes the final touches. The final touches, as in adding of a CTA at the end of your blog post just after the conclusion, or verifying and editing your entire content that you have written with respect to search engine optimization. And the third thing is categorizing and adding the necessary tags to your article. And yes, yeah. So what does CTA mean? A CTA is like uh, ACT is like a marketing term that refers to a call to action, that refers to the next step that a marketer wants its audience or reader to take. And in your case as well, as you're a writer, you want your ACT is like the same for you as well. To accentuate and not leave your readers blinded, you should generally opt to provide a call to action at the end of your article so as to guide your readers into taking the next step. It can be like for enrollment in a particular course which provides an extensive which provides an intensive um, related content, or for further readings as well. You can go ahead and put up some yeah, embed some videos, provide some links and anything as such, so that the reader is actually has this impression that yes, after reading this entire blog post, I can go ahead and take it a level further. All right. So that's what CTA means. Now comes the SEO part, search engine optimization. It means the process of optimizing and improving the content and website so as to increase the visibility by way of a search engine's organic search results. Yes, this is organic. This search engine optimization means you're optimizing your entire website or your entire article in such a way that whenever some random person searches about it on the internet, not the entire topic, but a brief of the topic or anything like a summary of it or anything like that. So your blog or your article should be the one to pop up in the first page of the Google search results. So yes, that is the brief part. Search engines such as Google and Bing use bots to crawl pages on the web, going from site to site, collecting information about those pages and putting them in an index. The algorithms analyze pages in the index, taking into account hundreds of ranking factors or signals to determine the order pages should appear in the search results for a given query. So, as a layman, how do you use Google? You go ahead and just Google some query, right? So whenever you're putting up a query, Google, what it actually does is it provides you a relevant, it provides you the relevant content. And how are these content ranked? These are actually ranked according to the SEO. For example, a certain website might have an SEO that is very well optimized, and the other one doesn't. But the other person's content is very much far superior than the first one. So who do you think is going to come up in the Google search result page? Obviously, it is the one who has the SEO very well optimized. So yes. So by fair means, in order to rank higher than your competitors, your article needs to have been optimized very well with respect to SEO. So I hope this part is clear. Should I go ahead? All right. Categorizing and adding tags. Block categories and tags are a way of grouping the related content so it is useful for your intended audience. There must be a group of audience who are who are going to come into your website, come into your blog, and read various content, right? So in order to provide them with a very structured manner of content, you need to have some particular block categories and add some tags, so that in case you have a very extensive resource of the similar content, they can actually go ahead and move from one tag to other tag or one category to other category and find the information that they are actually looking for. It basically helps the readers of the article to navigate and get to your blog seamlessly without any hassle. And obviously, in order to achieve that, your article needs to be properly categorized along with tags. So, this is it, guys. And yeah, this is a quote that I actually like. It's better to fail in originality than to succeed in imitation. So, this is like an author, Herman Melville. So, yes, that's about it. I hope I have provided you with some information that you were not aware of, or you were looking forward to it. So if at all you have any questions or anything, or you want to discuss with me as of now, you can go ahead and write your questions or queries in the chat box, and I'll try my best to clear all of it out. Yes, Swapnil is saying this is really informative and it's literally helpful for me. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Well, in case you have any question, please drop it. Drop it as in drop it in the chat box. Okay, so Swapnil asked that how can I monetize my content through internet? Depends on your niche, Swapnil. Actually, if at all you first of all you need to cover where your niche is, right? And obviously, if you want to go for a long, if you want to monetize in the long run, or you want to be successful in the long run, you cannot go ahead and aim at the short-term benefits. You need to look forward to the long-term things. And if you want to go ahead with content writing and content marketing, you can go ahead and choose a niche, right? Then do research, get a website as in you have to purchase the domain and hosting, and you can go ahead and research on the topics that you are probably going to write about, and then you can post articles and etc. Obviously at first it is going to be very slow, and to be very honest, blogging is not a, a quick process to be rich, and this is not something that the scammy process. It's a very legitimate process, but it will not exactly help you monetize, but in a way you can sell your products once you have reached a particular level, and the products will help you monetize your website. I hope that's clear. All right. So anyone else with any other questions? All right. So I hope everyone is clear with it. Haha. By the way, I have another request. Can all of you probably just turn on your video? I actually need to take a screenshot of it so as to keep it like a memoir. All right, where are others? Just a second. Hi, can others please turn on their videos? All right. I guess no one's interested to show their faces. I can understand your problem, bro. Uh, hey, Shailesh. Okay, I'm just putting up a screenshot. All right. So, thanks, guys, for attending this webinar, and thanks a lot. Anyways, bye bye.